Welcome, everyone, to part 4 of our teaching series, The Awakening of Yasharahla, From Curses to Covenant. This part is titled, They Never Left Captivity, but They Awoke, and the title speaks volumes. It's not just poetic, it's prophetic. Many believe slavery ended with emancipation. But what if I told you captivity didn't end? It simply evolved. Our people were never truly set free because the chains of bondage weren't just physical. They were spiritual, mental, and generational. Yet in the midst of captivity, a remnant began to wake up, not through politics, not through religion, but through prophecy. Today, we're going to uncover how identity, memory, and covenant are being restored. Not after escaping Babylon, but while still inside it. As we walk through this teaching, remember the name Yasharahla, because it's that name in that covenant that the awakening begins. Let's begin with a hard question, one we don't ask enough. If the chains are gone, why are we still not free? This slide isn't just rhetorical. It's a challenge to everything we've been told. Yes, we were told slavery ended. Yes, we were told the system gave us rights, gave us a vote, gave us freedom. But when we look at our communities, our families, our spiritual condition, does it feel like we're truly free? We're still navigating poverty, police brutality, educational inequality, mass incarceration, and systemic erasure of identity. We've been told we're free, but we're still fighting to prove our humanity. So this opening question sets the tone, because true freedom isn't a legal status. It's a return to covenant. And that's what this part of the series will unpack. How Yahweh's people, Yasharahla, began to awaken even while the chains of captivity still lingered. We're taught that slavery ended in 1865. But what if the captivity never actually ended? It just evolved. That's what this slide is showing. From plantation chains to Jim Crow laws, to mass incarceration, from forced identity loss to cultural assimilation. The curses listed in Deuteronomy 28, they didn't vanish with emancipation. They shifted, they morphed, they became modern systems that still oppress, still divide, still spiritually blind the children of Yasharahla. The yokes of iron may be gone from our necks, but now they show up in policies, prisons, and psychological warfare. This is why we must reframe how we view freedom. Because captivity without physical change is still captivity when your name, your language, your land, and your covenant have been stripped away. And that's the deeper truth of prophecy always pointed toward. This verse, Barak 2:30, is one of the most powerful prophetic statements in all of Scripture. It tells us that the awakening of Yasharahla wouldn't come by politics, education, or religion. It says, they shall remember themselves in the land of their captivity. Not because the system granted freedom, not because society evolved, but because Yahweh willed it. That awakening, that remembrance is not man-made. It is divine. The set-apart spirit is doing what no government, school, or church ever could. The scrolls are being unsealed. Our names are being restored. Our reflection is no longer what they called us, Black, Negro, minority, but who we truly are, Yasharahla. This prophecy fulfilled in real time. This is prophecy fulfilled in real time. The remembrance is spiritual, ancestral, and unstoppable. We were never meant to stay lost. We were always meant to rise. Here, our focus is shifting to a critical distinction. Awakening is not the same as religion. Barak 2:30 told us they shall remember themselves. But what sparked that remembrance wasn't Christianity, Islam, or any man-made doctrine. In fact, it was religion that helped keep us asleep. It gave us images of a white Messiah. It gave us foreign names like Jesus and Allah. It gave us holidays instead of holy days. It replaced Torah with tradition and obedience with emotionalism. But the awakening of Yasharahla isn't religious. It's spiritual. It's fueled by the Barak, this set-apart spirit of truth, not by seminary degrees or denominational labels. And that truth is bringing us back to the Torah, the feast, the covenant, and most importantly, the name, Yahweh. What we're witnessing is not a revival of religion. It's the reclamation of identity. It's not about going back to the church or to the mosque. It's about returning to the scrolls, to the instructions, to the covenant that was always ours. This is not conversion. This is remembrance. Let's pause and sit with this verse from Deuteronomy 28:68, or Deuteronomy 28:68. Yahweh shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. Now we know that didn't happen in Moses' day. They walked out of Egypt. No ships, no return. This Egypt is symbolic. It represents bondage, captivity, and oppression, but not in the physical land of ancient Mitzrayim or in ancient Egypt. This verse is pointing prophetically to a new Egypt, one across the Atlantic, one with auction blocks, plantation fields, and slave ships. That Egypt was not near the Nile. It was in the New World. It was America, the Caribbean, Brazil, South America, where our people were shipped, sold, and scattered, just like the prophecy said. So when the world tries to tell us that was already fulfilled in ancient times, we can point right here. Ships, not used in Moses' Egypt. A new Egypt defined by systems of slavery, not pyramids. Prophecy aligned with history, not tradition. And when we understand that, we realize our identity wasn't stolen by accident. It was prophesied. We are the people of the book, not because we claim it emotionally, but the curses match us in history, location, and experience. This is the captivity the scriptures spoke of. And the awakening begins when we admit this Egypt was ours. Let's talk about identity. For centuries, we've been taught names that weren't ours. We were told we were Black, a color, not a nation. Negro, colored, or African American, terms that changed every few decades. Christian or Muslim, religious labels forced during colonization and slavery. These names erase more than just culture. They cut us off from covenant. You see this chalkboard here in the background on this slide? Truth was systematically wiped away and replaced with the labels of oppression, not legacy. But then the awakening began. Names started returning. Yahweh, our Father. Yasharahla, our nation. Yahweh, Banyamin, our tribes. Torah, our instruction, our path back. And each time the name is restored, a spiritual chain breaks. This isn't just about language. It's about identity, inheritance, and prophetic memory returning. So ask yourself, if the world fought so hard to erase these names, what power must they hold? You see, this slide here, it's a reminder. We may have lost language, land, and lineage, but we are finding it again because the Barak is restoring what captivity tried to erase. Here we see something deeply rooted in Amos 9:9, where the Most High declares, "I will sift the house of Yasharahla among all nations." What does that mean? It means Yahweh never lost track of us. Even though we were scattered through slavery, colonization, and forced migration, he was still preserving the remnant, separating the seed from the chaff. Not in palaces, but in the projects. Not in temples, but in the trap. Not in royal robes, but in orange jumpsuits. Yahweh's shifting didn't happen in comfort. It happened in captivity. You see this picture of a sieve? It represents judgment and separation. The golden nuggets falling form the 12 tribes, a powerful visual of divine selection. Light shines on urban ghettos, prisons, and corners, showing that even in the lowest places, Yahweh was moving. This challenges the world's standards. You don't need validation from governments, universities, or churches. The Most High has already marked his chosen. And he's sifting not just for bloodline, but for those who remember. His name, his covenant, his commandments. This prophecy reminds us, you are not forgotten, you are being gathered. The awakening isn't just spiritual, it's prophetic, fulfilled in real time. We often think of freedom as a physical condition, but the Most High is showing us something deeper. Awakening didn't require us to leave captivity. It happened while we were still in it. You see this person kneeling in a prison cell with a scroll, a symbol of remembrance and covenant, opening beside them. Over their head, a divine light glowing with the name Yasharahla. Because identity was never lost in the eyes of Yahweh, only forgotten in ours. We see here in the background barbed wire silhouettes, which represent ongoing captivity. But look closer. Birds are rising, symbolizing the spirit being freed even when the body is not. This aligns directly with Baruch 2:30. In the land of captivity, they shall remember themselves. That's the core of this message. Not just waking up from oppression, but waking up in it and realizing Yahweh never left. We didn't escape the chains through rebellion. We broke them through remembrance. This is spiritual. Because what truly seals you is not paperwork, passports, or political freedom. It's the covenant. Even inside prisons, projects, profound poverty, Yahweh is sealing his people with knowledge, truth, and identity. You're not waiting for deliverance. You're living through prophecy. Captivity didn't cancel covenant. Prophecy is unfolding right now. This is the shift, the turning point in our story. We didn't just wake up to our oppression. We woke up to our purpose. See, we're reminded awakening is not escape. It's restoration. The goal was never just to break free from physical captivity. It was to remember the covenant that sets us apart. Deuteronomy 30 tells us that once we return to Yahweh with all our heart, even from the nations where we were scattered, he will gather us again. This slide represents the immersion in the river that reflects the Hebrew name Yasharahla, symbolizing a cleansing, identity, and return. People of every color and nation walking together toward Mount Zion, bathed in light, not as strangers, but as the remnant of Yasharahla. The remnant is awakening, not just learning who they are, but walking back into alignment. Because this isn't about rebellion. It's about reconnection. We were cursed, but now we're being called. We were scattered, but now we're being sealed. We were captives, but now we're walking in covenant. This moment isn't the end of the story. It's the restoration of the original one. The awakening is not about leaving a system. It's about re-entering a kingdom. Even here, Yahweh is sealing his people. What we're doing here is we want to go beyond just information. This is an invitation. Let's revisit the central question. If the chains are gone, why are we still not free? This isn't just about history. It's about the choices we face right now. You see this image here? A figure standing at the crossroads. One path leads to Babylon, symbolic of confusion, distraction, and conformity. The other path leads to Zion, the path of truth, return, and remembrance. In one hand, the figure holds the phone, representing the noise, the distractions, and the manufactured realities of this world. In the other hand, they hold a scroll, representing the truth, the covenant, and the ancient path back to Yahweh. That's the challenge. We are still mentally, spiritually, and culturally captive. Or are we finally fully awake? Deuteronomy 30:19 says this: I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life. Yahushua echoed this in Luke 9:62. No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. This isn't just about knowledge anymore. Now it's about action, about direction, and above all, about decision. Which hand are you holding out? The scroll or the screen? Babylon or Zion? Choose you this day whom you will serve, because the call is louder than the chains. Part 4 is a powerful reminder and a call to act, not just watch. We've walked through history, prophecy, and truth, showing how captivity never truly ended. It just changed forms. Yet, in the midst of oppression, Prophecy is unfolding. Yasharahla is remembering. Yasharahla is rising. The scroll floating above the people in this image symbolizes divine truth returning, not from governments or religions, but from Yahweh himself. Yahweh is bringing us divine truth. It can only come from him. Man cannot deliver it. Yahweh and his word. The shofar blowing over the city marks an awakening blast, a sound that throughout scripture meant warning, gathering, or the start of something new. Watch the next part. This journey isn't over. The next lesson relates to the Arab and Atlantic slave trades and the two wings of oppression. We expose how two enemies, one Eastern and one Western, work together to carry out the captivity prophesied in Deuteronomy 28. Subscribe, share, sound the shofar. We're not just teaching. We're waking up a nation. Sharing multiplies the reach. Sounding the shofar is our way of saying, make noise with truth. Yasharahla is rising. That's not a slogan. That's prophecy. Barak 2:30 is coming to life before our eyes. They shall remember themselves. You're not just a viewer. You're a witness to this awakening. And what you do next will determine whether this truth stops with you or spreads through you. Shalom, and stay sealed in the name of Yahweh and Yasharahla.